my favorite place to go. You're at the end of my favorite road. Above the rest, you're the best I know.
So guys, good morning. I am Lewis, you are watching Lost in Travel, and I think I have just woke up in a fairy tale. Look at where I am right now.
Previously on Lost in Travel. I've had to break this 2-month interrailing Europe journey into sections. The first chapter would definitely be the French chapter. Over the last 3 weeks, we've soaked up the sun in Paris, caught sights of a dream castle, drunk lots of wine in Bordeaux, relaxed in the French Riviera, and explored Lyon from top to bottom.
So literally 2 weeks ago, I had never even stepped foot into France.
Apart from a detour to the historic Turin in Italy, France has been the backdrop for most of this epic adventure. Today, we say au revoir to France for the time being and begin the next chapter of this grand tale. We say goodbye to France and hello to Switzerland, a country that's been on my bucket list for so long. Coming up in the next set of vlogs, I will be traversing my way around this alpine country, taking in all the nature views, wildlife, hikes, food and stories this place has to offer.
Oh my goodness gracious!
The show starts right here as we cross the Swiss border into the charming city of Geneva. But first, let's appreciate the beauty of this fairy tale like country in the ever so tranquil town of Annecy.
For the long haul scatters in my brain, for the waiting lane, can I reinvent?
So welcome on here to my final morning in France. I have got up for an early sunrise mission here at one of their most picturesque spots. I'm here in Annecy, France, and I couldn't believe this place was real the first time I was trying to plan this trip, and now that I'm actually here and I'm seeing it with literally no one around, it is real. This is a charming little town here in France, and I can't wait to just stroll along with my camera and see it in all of its glory. I actually arrived here last night, but I didn't want to go out with the camera because it was mobbed, which I think you could expect with somewhere so elegant like this. So I was like, okay, I've got no motivation to go out, I'm not going to go out. And I felt a bit conflicted because I'm in such a beautiful location. Why don't I want to go out and take photos in all of its glory? I've made it this far, and I'm happy that I decided not to. I had a nice chill evening, and now I've came out here and this is where I am, guys. Look at this, and I've got no one in my way, so let's begin strolling through this pretty town. I honestly feel like I'm in a Disney movie. Also, I just wanted to mention that right there, that's my garden for today. So I'm currently now just walking down towards Lake Annecy, and this is such a small town. It's amazing because I could have made it from one side to the other. If I was taking photos in probably about 5 minutes, but it's a lovely day, so let's walk down to the lake and see how gorgeous it is with the mountains in the background. There is something so magical about being up before the crowds, beating the crowds, just being up. It's just me, joggers and dog walkers, and there's just something so tranquil about that. And I don't know if it's just because I'm in such a pretty location such as Annecy, but I'm just going to tell you is that you have to do this more often. Come on out before the crowds, beat the sun as well, because it can get a bit warm in the summer times. But if you want photos with just you in them, or with nobody in them at all, you've got to make sure you come out for sunrise, or at least around that time, for the best lighting conditions and for just the best attraction overall. Annecy is so pretty, so if you really do want to capture it in all of its beauty, you do have to do it right here. I have loved visiting all of these cities in France. I have been to about 9 of them now, and there's just something so historic and so cultured about all of the cities here in France. I don't even know which one will be my favourite, Paris, for so many reasons, was amazing. I also am a big fan of Lyon, had a great time there. But I am ready to move on from France. It's been 2 solid weeks and I'm ready to have 2 solid weeks in nature. Because yes, I'm going to Switzerland in this video, and this, I think, is just the beginning of introducing me to what the life is going to be like up in the mountains. It's going to be great.
Well, high time lingers on, I feel it in the wind. And though we may be gone, our paths may cross again. I saw the rising sun glitter in your eyes. If the golden day should come, I'll see you down the line.
So guys, I literally feel like I woke up in a fairy tale this morning. It's not just because of my location, it's also because of the Airbnb I'm staying in right now. This is so enchanting. Probably one of the coolest places I've ever stayed, and it's got a view right down, by the way. So I opened this big wooden gate and I just walked right through, and you just come into this, it looks like you've walked into Narnia. Honestly, I feel like I was teleported into some mythical place, and I just walked down these cobbled steps, okay, and I got here. And when you get here, this is phenomenal, by the way. So I walked down these steps down towards the canal, and I looked out, and right in front of me was the main landmark here in Annecy. I'm literally staying right on the edge of this town, and I love it. Anyways, let's have some breakfast and watch this lovely view. You literally can't beat eating breakfast in a place like this. One of the best mornings of my life. So guys, there was Annecy. I think sometimes you forget that fairy tale books are inspired from real life places, and that is definitely what I felt like with Annecy. This is a real life fairy tale properly in France, and I have loved my time here. I've loved my time in France, but it's been about 3 weeks now since I have properly left the country for more than 24 hours. So I'm at the train station and I'm ready to take you to our next place. I'm heading to Geneva and I am so excited. But it is not the end of the France content here, because I've got one more video in 2 weeks time when I leave Switzerland. I'm going to be coming back to France. If you're not tired of all the France related stuff, stay tuned in a couple weeks time, because we've got one more France video. But for now, I'm going to Switzerland for 2 whole weeks. I don't know how my bank account's going to cope. Let's get on that train to Geneva.
Got a good thing coming, and it's all I need. Everything I wanted is in front of me. It's looking up and down, sun is shining over me. I got a good thing coming, just wait and see.
So guys, welcome on here to Geneva, Switzerland. It has been a few days since I've spoken to you. Today is actually my final day here in the city, and I just want to catch you all up from the moment I have left France and entered one of my dream countries in the entire world. I'm here in Switzerland and I'm about to have an amazing adventure around here, with Geneva being my first stop, and it has definitely given me a first taster of what Switzerland's going to be like. With the view coming in here, the Alps, oh my god, I was about to cry with how glorious that was. It was just an amazing way to enter what I have been perceiving as a dream country for so long, and it's like there was evidence to back up why. But I do have to tell you, Geneva does feel a lot more French than the rest of Switzerland. We're literally at the border here. It only took a couple minutes from the last French stop to then enter the first Swiss stop. So we are definitely at the border. That means there's still a big French culture. In Switzerland, there's 2 languages that are mainly spoken, and that is French and German. And in Geneva, French is the main language. But I believe the rest of this trip I will be in German-speaking Switzerland, and I am very excited to be able to jump away from the culture of France, because I've been in France for quite a while now, and even though it is epic, it'll be nice to just get a different taste of my surroundings, you know. I should probably fill you in on what I've been doing the last few days. So I arrived here in Geneva and I made my way to the hostel, and when I was at the hostel there was some problem with my booking, and it got me chatting to another guy who also had a problem with his booking. We then ended up being in the same room, so we actually went out and hung out that night. We skipped some rocks into Lake Geneva. I wasn't very good at it, so he actually taught me how to skip rocks, and we just had a great night overall. And then we went out for a few drinks, and I want to tell you about this. Okay, I've sat down to explain how expensive Switzerland is. So we went for drinks, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go for a Jack Daniel honey and coke, and I was like, well, actually, let's make it a double. Let's go for a double one. The bill came, and I'm now using Swiss francs, and this bill came to 30 Swiss francs for a double Jack Daniel's honey and coke. What would probably cost about £9 back home cost about £27 here in Switzerland. And then we actually hung around together the next again day. So me and Sam from Alabama went up to do this hike at Mount Salève. We were just trying to figure out things to do in Geneva, and this was for something that was recommended. Although the cable car was fortunately out of operation, it's under maintenance at the moment. I think it's got about a couple more months before it fully opens again, so we had to do the proper walk. But hey, yesterday it was an incredible day. We both went on a lovely hike up this mountain, and the views were absolutely glorious. It took about 6 hours in total. It was definitely very straining, and you did a lot of endurance to be able to do it, but the views were definitely worthwhile, and I got to see right over the lake. Funny part about this though is that I was actually in France to complete this hike. We had to walk across the border, and that just shows you how close Switzerland is to France, that we just got off our stop. We actually can get a free public transport pass included in our stay in Geneva, so we were able to hop on all the public transport, and we literally just got off the last stop in Geneva, and we just walked across the border and then went up this mountain, and it was an amazing day. And I've got a few bits of footage that I'm going to be clipping in and all that through here. It turned out to be an excellent day out in nature, and some of the countryside that I was seeing, if this is what it's like just at the French border of Switzerland, I can't wait to just have properly delved right into this country in the next few videos, and I hope you guys are looking forward to that too, because Switzerland has been my dream, and I want to make it your dream through you guys watching these vlogs, and you can see why I fell in love with this country. It's so exciting. But Sam's actually left today. He's going back home to Alabama, so I've now got one more day here in Geneva, and I want to go out and see some of the old town. Although one of the biggest landmarks here in Geneva, the Jet d'Eau or something like that, is it's this big fountain, and it's amazing. I was wanting to put my drone up and see it today. It's currently not on, and I believe it's because it's a lot more cloudy today. It's actually a lot more windy, and I think it's the wind. Because this fountain is so it is so tall, like it's a sight to behold. I believe they've probably not put it on because I will probably be getting soaked from here, and I'm quite far away from where that is. But I went to see it this morning, and I do believe it's the weather that they've turned it off for. So I never got that drone footage, unfortunately, but definitely come to Geneva to see that because it is insane. So the first way I spent my morning was I went into the Museum of Art and History, and that is a really good museum. It is free, so unlike everything else in Switzerland, this was free. I wasn't having to pay 30 Swiss francs or whatever, and it was incredible. Just I've not been in a lot of museums on this trip, so to be just going to a free museum, of course, back home in Edinburgh, they've got a lot of free museums, so it's nice just to be able to walk in, definitely on more gloomier days like this. And all in all, I had a solid hour and a half of exploring in there. Lots of different art pieces. I was quite a big fan of the landscape section, just because of doing this and really getting into landscape photography. That was just so exciting just to see landscape as a painting. I do highly recommend going to that museum. Anyways, let's go to the old town.
Lost in forest days, out where your heart stays, tossed from the common space, dust from the city chase.
there we go. I had a lovely walk around the old town. I've got to say, it reminds me a lot of being in Bratislava. It's quite a small city, and the best part about it is it's so peaceful. So I had a lovely walk. I went into the local church, and overall I just loved going past all the alleyways and just enjoying myself here and just being like, oh my god, I am in Switzerland. But anyways, if you did enjoy today's video, guys, then drop a like, share with your family, your friends, and subscribe, because I've got a whole 2 weeks in this country and there's so much I want to see. Anyways, peace out, guys. I'll see you for the next one. Bye.
You come fly away with me. Imagine all the things that we could see. Yeah, don't you know that life's a dance? Come take my hand and fly away.